are recording. The cameras are on. The lights are on.
Uh-oh.
Welcome to Hollywood, motherfuckers.
Woo!
Shit.
Get paid about just as much.
Let's just
I thought we were in Millvale, but
Millvale, the Hollywood of flood towns. I don't know. Actually, that's probably Johnstown. Anyways, we're getting off to a really bad foot on this.
It's not going to go any better.
Make some noise. Desolence is in the building. That's the introduction. Gentlemen, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
This lovely Sunday afternoon in the one and only Millvale.
Every fire truck in town running past.
Yes. They heard there was going to be hot heat on the show.
It wasn't down here.
Right.
Yeah. They heard you got your masters back.
you're getting out of town. That's it.
Run.
Yeah. They're leaving before we destroy Millvale with this album release show. Let's just go face first right into this.
Yeah.
Get the important dates out of the way, and then we'll talk about pizza or whatever.
April 18th at the Funhouse. Doors at 6, show at 7. We got Guides opening, so I'm doing double duty. Is that not close enough?
That's fine. Close.
Hello.
You don't got to be like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I got to be extra. Yeah, Guides is opening. I'm doing double duty. I'm filling in for them, so it's going to be a long day for me. We got you guys.
DODDIE.
Yes.
Duty.
So we got you guys in Grey Walker, second, Reign of Z, and then we're playing the full album front to back at the end of the night.
It's more of this fire trucks.
More fire trucks. Yeah. They're still running.
Well, it's awesome. Thanks for including my band. Thanks for getting a cool lineup together. And early congratulations on finishing the impossible task of making a record.
Right.
I know firsthand how hard it is to get this shit done.
Total of almost 6 years in the making for this record. So, So we're sorry it came out the way it did with as much time as we took.
That's the thing that I don't think enough, we'll say like independent underground bands, like truly independent, that are people that are doing this themselves, like how much effort it takes just to get like a song recorded. You know, like why aren't you doing more? It's like, motherfucker, help me out here.
It's expensive.
Right? It's so
this shit's expensive.
It's expensive. It
like
takes
just the mixing and mastering alone, not including the recording, was what, about $5,000?
Something like that. Yeah. But, we had to be extra, so we sent it over to Germany to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So shout out to Skulltone Studios for doing all of that. He did it. He did a phenomenal job with what we gave him.
Yes. Yeah, it was definitely a learning experience. We learned more this time through than we did the first time through, and
Well, we also recorded the first one in the middle of COVID, so it was just learning how to survive each other during that time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
in a studio where only one or two of us could be there at a time.
because it was so small.
Yeah,
There was just no room for anybody.
Yeah, so that was an experience. I don't know if it was a learning experience, but it was an experience for sure.
We survived it.
We got a record
That's
out.
what it was. We survived it, and we all survived each other. So I think that was the learning experience on the first album.
Yeah.
We barely survived each other, but we did.
I mean, recording a record, you'll learn a lot about the people that you're in a band with. You'll learn about how they work under pressure. You'll learn how much they actually know the fucking songs.
Right?
You'd be like, oh, you've been playing that the whole time? What the fuck are you doing?
Right. There was a lot of that in the studio this time around.
I know there was.
There was a lot of times where I'm recording and I look at him and go, the fuck did you play right there? Because that's not what I play.
We also did, when we did the guitar dubs, we would just swap each other's guitars and keep playing. So, like, days he wasn't there, I would grab his guitar and play, I think this is the rhythm section. Then he'd come in the next weekend and be like, what the fuck did you do?
Yeah, that's not even close.
I did
It's
my
not even in the
part-
right key.
I did my part just slightly wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's all part of the lovely experience of creating art. And as we've said, you've gone through the trials and tribulations of writing and recording and just dealing with each other. Congratulations on all that. Let's get back to the beginning. Let's do the Spider-Man origin story. How'd you get bit? Who bit you? Who's biting each other still to this day? Give me the juicy details.
That's starting with you. Let's start with you two. I didn't come in until after the bite happened.
Yes. Yes.
Post bite.
I was post bite.
Fuck, how long? That was what?
2017, I believe.
So we had a whole different lineup, a whole different sound, a whole different everything.
Yeah.
Same name?
Same
name.
At the time that we jumped in, I think they had 3 tracks kind of like demoed in a studio.
Yeah.
No name, no nothing.
Gotcha.
Came in, went through all that. That lineup fell apart, but we had shows booked like 2 months past. So I'd played with this asshole maybe 10 years beforehand.
Yeah, give or take.
So I called him like, hey, I need a fill-in. We have no songs because they took all the tracks with them.
Yeah. We actually lost the drummer, the bass player, and the lead guitar player.
Oh, wow.
All in one big swoop, and it was just me and him standing. And we had played in bands together prior.
Yeah.
Me and Fenn had been playing together for a good 18 years. And we sort of looked at each other and we're like, we got these shows booked. What are we going to do? And
so I ripped open my I ripped open my demo file on my computer and just sent out all the tracks I had. And I said, if you pick a set out of that, we'll learn them. Do whatever we need to do. Just
wow.
So we got him. He called a buddy of his to drum, and his wife just happened to get a hold of our bassist's wife. Was over at their house and just saw a bass and was like, hey, is your boyfriend play bass?
This is a true story. True story.
And so that's how that came together.
Which you may know Austin back. He was the original bassist for Onyx Eye.
Okay, yeah.
So we ripped that one together, pulled like 5 tracks out of that demo file, learned them in 2 months, and went out and played our first show at the Moose. And that's just kind of how it's been then. I think.
Yeah. As soon as we played the Moose, then COVID happened, and
we were actually the last live performance in Pittsburgh before everything shut down.
Yep.
Like they made the announcement that they were shutting everything down at midnight, and we actually were like late with that show. Like Smiling Moose, technical difficulties. We went on at like 12:30 after everything was supposed to shut down.
Yep.
So we were officially the last band to play live before it all went to shit.
On my computer somewhere is video of that first show. Somebody had taken video. Or no, I had set up a tripod and recorded ourselves.
Yep.
We started the ego like immediately, man.
We didn't even know our songs.
No. It's a slop fest.
We went there to open. We're like, okay, we'll open. We don't really know the songs. It's cool. We got like 4 or 5 of them, whatever. Yeah. And then we get there and they're like, hey, we're going to need you guys to headline. And we're like, we've never even played a show and we don't even really know our songs.
Well,
like
everybody dropped off. There were us and 2 other bands. The other 2 bands dropped off and they found random people to fill in.
It was a rapper and like an art performer.
Okay.
So like you'd get up and just make noise and
very similar to Mike Fisher.
Yeah.
Disease of the Mind stuff. But
with more yapping.
Yeah, more yapping and just the one guy.
Okay.
But very similar.
I wish I could remember their names. It's been too damn long.
We got the flyer somewhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's probably somewhere too. But yeah, at the time, so we're playing, upstairs in the Moose. We've got long sleeves on, jeans. We were wearing masks at the time because we thought we were fucking special. And I think all of that gear lasted maybe halfway through one song. Because we're sweating bullets, sleeves come up, masks come off. Because we're also like, all 3 of us do vocals. And that started at the beginning. So we had masks on, knowing they were big plastic, bulky Etsy masks. Knowing that we were going to have to do vocals. Never thought about it.
So we got rehearsal with the masks on?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
So, and I mean, they were cheap shit. So like half
like
a song, they're
came in the day
into
before.
your,
sure.
Oh, they're awful.
Yeah, I get it.
So we take them. Off
they
went.
That was the last time that ever happened.
Yep. I think I've worn jeans to a show once after that. That sucks.
I still have the mask somewhere.
I think I broke mine.
Oh, mine's broken, but I still have it. Sentimental value is where we're at here.
Yeah. I mean, there was, for the upstairs in the Moose, there was a decent number of people there, but it was a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, we only had 4 songs, I think.
4 songs.
4 songs, and then
I think we pulled a 5th one out of our but that we might have played.
We
like,
did that
once.
like instrumental thing.
The chuggy bits.
the little
Chuggy
chuggy bits.
Yeah.
Chuggy bits.
We're great at working titles.
Our demo titles are awful.
Understood.
Yeah,
I've been there.
that was supposed to be something, but
Never was.
I think it's still sitting on my computer or
I
something.
think it was- yeah, I don't know.
Irrelevant.
It'll turn into something sometime.
You can
Maybe.
release the demo on the Desolence box set in 20 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
On
There
everybody,
we go.
you know.
Yeah,
The live version of our first
There'll be like
show
the
ever.
Beatles box set and then the Desolence
Yeah.
box set.
Yeah.
20 years, we may have another album done.
Might. We'll see if we're still even alive at that point.
Be on our 18th drummer.
Yep. Yeah.
That was another challenge with this recording process is a drummer change.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
had
right
started
in the middle.
recording 3 or 4 years ago.
Mhm.
Then, the drummer got married, decided this kind of wasn't his scene anymore. He went off and did his own stuff. We shut down for like
Almost a
year.
Almost a year.
Got a new drummer in, got him up to speed, played some shows, and then started over.
Yeah. That Welcome to Metal Vale Fest was Corey's first show with us.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
So he got thrown into the fire real fast.
Yeah. And I mean, we
It
almost
seems like a common trend with this band.
Yeah.
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 it's
Yeah.
so
We
off
need
the
to
cuff.
make sure you can cut it. And,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Props
No
to
training
Corey.
wheels.
Throw you,
just
throw you
fucking
right
cut
out.
it.
Throw you right out to the wolves and
Yeah.
be like, we'll see if you make it out the other side.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Props to Corey for picking up those songs and learning.
Oh yeah.
He did run
What
that
he
real
did.
quick.
Yeah.
It's our previous drummer. He set a bar for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, Corey came in and learned those songs and did great with performing them. We got into the studio. He got a little gun shy because he had never been in
Yeah.
a studio at that level before. He had done like home recording stuff, but now he killed it. And the album sounds great. So
It did.
we're
come out
happy
well.
with the decision we made.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very.
Sorry, the screen went black for a second.
Yeah,
I got
it happens
distracted.
it happens every once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, what did I do?
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
you guys.
But it's been me, Aaron, and Fen and Austin since 2020.
Yeah.
2020. They came in January, I think, of 2020.
Might have been that. Yeah.
They both had their first practice the same day.
Yeah.
Mine started an hour later because I can't show up on time for anything. Today, as an example,
Yeah.
I was being only about 5 minutes late is a
That's
significant improvement for me.
Yeah, I've been doing this show for a while,
Yeah,
and a lot of the people that I talk to on this show are, degenerates. So
yeah.
I'm pretty used to
Yeah.
used to schedules being a little loose.
I mean, the only time I've been on here before, like Mike Fisher was on here with us, so doesn't get much more degenerate than that.
No, I mean, no.
And with Mike, that's a compliment.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I don't feel bad about saying that at all on record.
Yeah, honestly,
He would say it before I did.
Yeah, he might want you to say a little more. Honestly,
I was gonna say he might be
Fair.
upset. That's all you said.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I'll apologize later.
I won't.
He's working tonight. He's making me food, so I'll give him some credit for that.
Hell yeah. So, starting this band at the time that you did, very peculiar. Nobody knew what to expect when it came to all of the shutdown stuff.
Mhm.
Right.
But y'all made it through. So, what were you doing like in that time frame? Were you just
Recording.
like
Recording.
okay,
Yeah.
writing and recording?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our studio, the guy that was running the studio was okay with us coming in and
One or two at a
recording
time.
one or two at a time.
Yeah.
To record. And of course, he had to take your temperature and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
before you came in to his house because he had an attic recording studio.
Mhm.
So that's pretty much what we did the whole way through COVID while everybody else was sort of shut down. We were working on that first album and trying to get it
So
released by the time everything
yeah.
Yeah.
was able to be happening again.
Yeah. And I
So
mean,
you're
you
optimistic that the world was gonna open back up.
delusional.
Yeah.
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 Because that was another one that we thought was going to be much quicker than it was. We've not learned a lesson at all about scheduling
No.
out how our projects
No.
work. Yeah. The first one, I thought we were going to get away with like a summer, and then when this opened back up, we'd be hitting the ground running. I think it was the following fall that we had managed to put that out.
Yeah, because when we put that out, 2021?
2021.
Yeah,
2021.
it was October of 2021.
Yeah.
This one we thought was going to be 3 months. Took the entirety of a year because we started last March. So we're very ego-driven on this one.
I just got the memories from that on Facebook. 1 year ago yesterday was our first recording session for this album.
Yeah. So we don't know shit. We just go in. You want to talk about being on the cuff and just going, we do that with everything.
Yeah.
So when we were recording that first record, we went in with like 4 tracks. And we had to have all our stuff booked. We'd come like right up to the ass edge of, okay, we got studio this weekend. Does anybody have a song? Like, let's get one. So that entire first record is completely pulled out of ass.
Yeah. We were writing it as we went. I was actually writing lyrics for songs in the booth, or either in my kitchen at the kitchen table with Fen sitting there waiting for everybody else to show up.
So there was the one song. There was the one song we recorded the vocals. We listened back to it because it was just me and Brian in there, and we went, "That sounds terrible. We need to rewrite that." So we went into the stairwell of the attic and sat down with notepads and rewrote all of the lyrics for that entire song in about like 20, 30 minutes. And then went in, re-recorded it, went, we didn't like that either. Went back into the stairwell, made some changes, went back into the booth, and we're like, okay, we can live with this one.
Yeah.
At that point, we're just like, we're sick of dealing with this song. Let's just, this is it. Whether we like it or not, this one is it.
We're really chasing our tails on that first one. We already had time booked, and we didn't have the songs wrote, and the expectations were just...
And we were a lot.
I think you don't take a lot of things into consideration. Like, things come up and then you can't practice, or you know what I mean. And you think you're going to have stuff done, and then we wouldn't. We'd have time booked, and we'd be like, "Okay, what are we going to do?"
Yeah,
and
we're going to pull it out of our ass. Is what we're going to do.
But we were a lot pickier with the songwriting process this time around.
Oh, 100%.
Because like they said last time, like we got the studio next week. We don't have anything. Let's throw together something real quick and then go record it and see what happens. This time around, like we come up with a riff, we build the whole song off of it, we take a quick video of us practicing it, we go home, dissect it, we go, okay, this needs over here, cut this part out, change this. So the songwriting process on this album was a lot more thought out than the first one.
Yeah.
There was still a lot of run and gun with it, but we went into when we actually went into the studio this time, day one of recording, everything was written. We know what we're playing to an extent. You know, like there's times, like I said, like I had no idea what he was playing, and when I tracked it, I was like, "That's
the harmonies wouldn't come out right." So the record has like 3 distinct kind of chunks in it. So we have a little more of like the melodic metalcore kind of thing. Mm-hmm. We have some like really dark stuff. There's like a deathcore one, there's kind of a sludgy one, and there's these kind of things. And then there's these 3 pieces that kind of, they start, end, and they're one in the middle. And they're not instrumentals, but they're not like whole orchestrated songs either. All 3 of those we wrote in the studio.
Yeah.
Those other 6 tracks were done ahead of time. We had a whole nother record done with our previous drummer. We had gotten rid of some tracks. We had kept the ones that we thought were really strong, and then continued off of that.
Yeah.
So we were pretty well rehearsed on the ones that were done. So we got in there and just kind of hit it. But then these other ones, you know, we got into synth pads and we got into keyboards and arrangements, but also from the time that we released Catalyst until now, like we've done so many demos and so much work at home that like our ability as songwriters had blown up.
Sure. Yeah.
So, you know, we're sitting in there doing all the nerdy shit like, oh, let's modulate this up. Maybe we'll switch keys. Maybe let's take this into 3/4, because I think the entirety of the first record's in 4/4, kind of all on pace. Mm-hmm. And we're moving around timestamps. We're moving around. Like we really got into nitty gritty with this one. So like, I think that shows a lot more on this record. The production side is also much better. Caleb is a killer engineer out in Somerville, and then we sent it off to Nino in Germany, and he works for
Napalm Records
out there. So he knew all this stuff. Like the first mix we got back was killer. All we had to do was like just a little louder on the vocal, a little louder on this, and like that was the entire process for mixing. It was super simple. It took us forever because we're idiots, but it was simple.
Yeah, the mixing process we drug our feet on just as we're like, all right, everybody put in their notes, and then I'd be like, I think the vocals need to come up in this song. And then Brian would be like, I think the vocals need to come down in that song. The guitar needs to be louder. Why is there a guitar in that part to begin with? So there's a lot of back and forth and like a lot of compromising and a lot of discussion on like, okay, well, why do you think the vocals need to come down? And, you know, is it more of an EQ issue than a volume issue?
Yeah.
But yeah, we drug our feet on it a little bit with that, but.
And it was another
it's
one.
Done.
Yeah, it's done. And that was another thing. We had the mixing booked before we were done recording. I think we had maybe like 2 sessions in the studio.
Yeah.
Before we had talked. Actually, Nino had gotten a hold of us and we just wound up committing. But like everything was booked before we were done with shit. So then we're chasing, pushing everything back. I think we pushed release back twice. Because we don't know what we're doing.
Sure.
Yeah, I think once we hit fall, we landed on the April date. And I was like, I can lock in the date at Smalls for the album release show. So I'm gonna do that, get that out of the way. And that's in like September, I think. We're still not even done recording. And I was like, album release show's booked. I've reached out to bands. I'm like, everything's set and ready to go. And then we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I think that helped us. I think if we didn't set that hard deadline, we might still be recording.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think at some point too, we said like, if this is an EP, like we only managed to get 5 of these fucking done in time, then that's what we're doing.
What it is. Yeah. I think the biggest learning experience for me on this one was and we ran out of time with recording and stuff, but.
And unfortunately, as you know, the last thing to record is always the vocals. So he got shafted.
Yeah. To sit with the vocals a little bit more after recording and sort of just line them up a little bit better and get a better idea of what we were looking for before we shipped it off somewhere where like
essentially we were hands off.
Not the communication was like bad, but communication's hard whenever you're talking another country. And what he had to work with might not have been as refined as we could have given it to him.
Sure.
Because of time. So like getting the vocals, like the volumes and the backups and all the vocals together, like trying to explain to him the whole way over there. I'm like, I really wish that we would have given this a little bit more time so we could have sat in there at the recording studio and kind of cleaned this up a little bit and been like, this is kind of what
it's a
we're
very
looking
dense
for.
record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough when you are in the recording process of these songs that you really never hear for the first time until you get that mix back, right? Like you've heard it in a practice space, maybe you've played it live, maybe you've demoed it, but it's not the same, right? And then it comes that line of like, you're expecting it to, like you expect a drink to taste one way, but then it tastes another way. And you're like, doesn't mean it's bad. It's just different.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, what is actually wrong here? What could be better? Or is it just like, my voice was just a little bit different this day? It's not bad. It's like, I don't know. A lot of times I have a big thing when I'm recording where I like to record something and then not listen to it at all. Like I don't want to hear it back right away.
Yeah.
Give me a day or two. Let me hear it with fresh ears. Cause most of the time I'm like, oh, this is actually fine. Yeah. My brain's just fried from yelling for 3 hours straight.
That happened to us a lot in this process where we recorded it and we're all sitting in the studio listening to it back a couple times. And we're like, yeah, that was it. Cool. And then, he compresses it down, sends it off to us. We listen to it at home. And a week later, we're like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Like, I think I re-recorded every guitar solo on that album at least twice.
I think so.
And
I redid whole vocal. Like I'd take it home and I'd listen to it for a couple weeks and I'd tell them, I'm like, look, I got a schedule on our weekend and just go in and rip through these 3 again, because that's just not what I'm looking for. Like, it sounded right there, but like you said, you give it a couple weeks or something, then you listen to it and you're like, that's not
and
even what I'm
especially
trying to go for. Like, it doesn't have the right feel
and
to it.
especially when you're going from this room with these speakers into your car, into this room with a sound bar, into this room with your, your phone.
It's gonna sound different everywhere.
You'll hear all the different little nuances in there, whereas his studio is meant to make it sound good, right? So then you get home, and like my computer, I just have a sound bar. So when I listen to it, it all kind of squishes like into mono, and all the stupid little things pop out. So then you're sitting there going, dude, I can hear every time our fingers move, and it's driving me insane.
Yeah.
So we got to like deal with that frequency or learn how to play our fucking instruments, whatever it is.
Right. A lot of my mixing notes came from plugging my phone into the board in the funhouse after the show's over. And I'm like, I'm going to listen to it on this. And then like adjusting the EQ on that to be like, okay, that's what it's supposed to sound like. Now I can make better notes. But yeah, there was a lot of back and forth going through that. Like mostly ourselves too. Like it wasn't like, Brian would record a vocal and Fen would be like, I think you need to redo that. It was Brian would record a vocal and go, that sucked, I'm doing it again.
Yeah.
I would record a guitar solo and be like, I need to rewrite that entire thing. I don't know what that was.
Sure.
And, Corey did the same thing with drums. He would play a part and then he'd listen back to it and be like, why am I the drummer for this band? Eventually we all figured it out and we all got it nailed down where it was supposed to be. But yeah, a lot of just beating ourselves up in the process. I think if we had the option and the money too, because recording's expensive, if we had that option to be able to like do what you said, record it, not listen to it at all, walk away from it for a day or two, and then go back in and then make the changes, then the process might have been a little faster. But we got to drive up to Clarion once a month to get this done. And it's an expensive drive to get up there. We're paying him for the studio time every time we're up there. So being an independent local band is way more expensive than people think.
Sure. There's not only in terms of like the financial things, of course, like gas, paying people for labor and equipment and stuff like that, but it's also like emotionally taxing.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's where a lot of people kind of get fucked up, and me going back to being like, congratulations on finishing an album. Because you kind of do learn a lot about like, it's like, you're like looking at yourself naked in the mirror, and it's not always the best. Right. Like that's like what listening to these mixes back is like, fuck, like I need to, we got to get it together, everybody. And like holding yourself accountable, not being like, if you fuck something up, holding yourself accountable, and also being able to tell other people, being comfortable with your bandmates to be like, hey, I think you could do this better. And this isn't me talking shit. It's just for the greater good. Like we're all trying to make something that we're really proud of. Right. But we're all idiots. So we got to hold each other accountable.
Yeah. And especially when you're new to like recording an album, like when you listen to, unless you're in a studio listening back to what you just recorded, you've never listened to a mix before. You've always listened to masters.
Oh, yeah.
So being able to separate the fact of like, what we're listening to is still very raw. And it's like fresh out of the studio. It's not going to sound like the finished product.
Right.
And it's
still got to sit in the crock pot for a few hours.
Right.
Yeah.
For me especially, even though I've been through this process multiple times with previous bands, like still like getting the mix back and listening to that and being like, why does it sound like, oh, it's not mastered yet? And being able to separate that to be able to give accurate notes or, critique ourselves accurately.
And I think too, there's also a thing to be said where it's really easy now, especially in the past, like, I mean, I want to say in modern times, but this is now a case of the past 20, 25 years, especially in hard rock metal, where everything really sounds so much more homogenous. Everything sounds the same. Every mix sounds the same.
Yeah.
And a lot of bands, in my opinion, lose this lack of identity. Like you could play me like a Bad Omen song or a President song or a Beartooth song, and I wouldn't be, I'd be like, I don't know what fucking band this is. It could be any of them. They all sound the same to me. Yeah. It's not a bad thing. It just all sounds, because the production sounds so similar. So the point I'm trying to make is that sometimes like what doesn't sound right to you is just like, oh, this is what my band sounds like. This is the way I play the guitar. This is the way somebody plays the drum. This is what my voice sounds like. I'm not the fucking Bad Omens guy, right? I am me. And like being comfortable with like being comfortable with like being in your own skin, I guess, and be like, this is what our band sounds like. We still want to sound good. Yeah. But it's, you know, it's not always going to sound 100% like everything else.
Right. And it's so hard to get that individual sound anymore because everything's so oversaturated. Especially in like rock, metal, metalcore. Like it's hard to really find that defining sound that you're happy with.
And the lean on automation and post-production is so heavy that when you, like for this one, he basically gave us a list of like genre archetypes and is like, pick one. Like, well, we don't fit any of those.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, like, you know, this song might fit this one, but this song is in this one.
Yeah,
I mean, really across the record, but even in the record, it's like, okay, well, here's our very like metalcore verse and then very pop punk chorus. And those two things aren't gonna jive if you just put a blanket over it. So it was very much sitting there going, well, you know, I would like the beef of like this. I would like a little more of that fullness like you get in deathcore. I would like, you know, some of this like high-end edge that like thrash has, and you have to sit there and go through it. And thankfully Nino was really like cool with us and being like, okay, I get it, and we're gonna move. And
yeah, it just takes a little bit of extra effort. Like you go back and think about like the first few Linkin Park records, like a band that really went all over the place, but like their production would meet whatever need the part of the song that it wasn't just like, oh, this is the mix for this song. It's like, no, you got to break this down into the 4 genres that this song is, and then mix it accordingly.
Yeah, and I mean, so one of the things that we've managed to get away with a lot at being who we are is like, he comes from a very like old school death thrash kind of background. He's coming from a very pop punk kind of thing. Corey listens to a lot of like radio rock. Austin's all in beatdown. I listen to a lot of proggy shit. So when we come in and we mix all that stuff together, you get just weird shit happening all the time. And we try and distill that down to the stuff that makes the most sense. So we'll wind up, I think the last time we got together, we wound up with this train wreck of like time signatures that we were masquerading as riffs. And it was like, yeah, that'd be really cool. Somebody demo it. And like, that's a lot of work.
Especially when it turned out to be like a 9.5-minute song.
At
the end of that, and we're less like, no, this isn't it.
So this record's 9 tracks.
We had 4 different songs in one song with that specific one he's talking about.
So this record's 9 tracks and the runtime's almost an hour. So like long-winded is our bread and butter.
Yeah, so we like our long ones.
The front half of the record, I think everything's within that like 3-4 minute. The last 2 tracks on the album are almost 8 minutes each.
Yeah.
So there is no like one size fits all answer to what we do. And we learned that in the first record. So coming into the second one, we were like, we're almost going to treat all of these songs as their own record. Do however you have to do that to make it work. Cause you know, the thing that deals with the death metal song is not going to deal with the pop punk song or these very synthy ambient interludes. There's just not going to work. The record came out, I think, sounding really smooth across the whole thing.
It does.
I just listened to the whole thing on the way here again, just because it sounds really good, and like all of the different, like
it almost sounds like a record.
Yeah, all the different aspects of like the dark, heavier side on the back half, and then like the little brighter side on the front half. It all meshes well, and it flows really well as an album.
Yeah.
But which is, you know, we got to pat ourselves on the back for that. Cause like, if you're writing an album, you get in the mindset of writing an album. We stuck to it as let's write individual songs.
Sure.
Like, no, don't worry about what's going to fit on the album where. Let's just, when we're writing this song, let's make this song the best that we can make out of this.
Yeah. So the whole process starting 4 or 5, 6 years ago, however long it's been, has always been disjointed because the original plan was we were going to write one new song re-record one song from the first record and then add a thing in, and every track on the record was going to have this little 3-track EP. That was the release plan, and then at the end we'd take all the new stuff. Here's that record. Here's all the old stuff. Here's a re-release, and then there's a bunch of extra.
It feels very what's the word I'm looking for? That feels very like marketing based, and less like creative driven.
Well,
right?
because we learned on the first one that because we're all over the place making those things gel, and we managed to pull it off on the first record too, but it's a pain in the ass.
Sure.
So we thought if we could just like kind of put them in their own little packages.
That sounds kind of like, I mean, didn't Thrice do that with like that? They put out like those 4 EPs. It was
the
like,
Alchemy Index.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like kind of different styles of music.
Yeah, they released that as two records that was like split. The first half was one thing, and then I didn't even think of that when we were doing that. But that was a cool record too.
So Angel Maker just did a similar thing too.
Yeah, with Eclipse, whatever the name of that final record wound up being.
Yeah,
that was a couple years ago.
Yeah, we had that idea of like just release it in pieces. So it kind of took the pressure off of us to be like, we need to write an album.
Right.
And like, let's just write it in pieces, do one song at a time. And then, to get our money's worth in the studio, let's retrack the old one and then have like a big release at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And when that plan more or less fell apart, by the time it fell apart, we had enough songs to be like, we could just do the album then.
Yeah. The downside to releasing, like, the more things that you're releasing as its own individual thing, you're putting the same amount of work in that you would be an album, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to all of the marketing side of things, which is a whole nother can of worms when you get into graphic design and paying for promotion things, trying to get reviews. If you're trying to play that game, it's like, do you want to do that for one album that is like your whole body of work, or do you want to do that every 3 months for all of these different things? And where it's like, oh, you're paying all this money marketing yourselves as a death metal band one month, and then 3 months, oh, now this is our pop punk thing, and might confuse people. You might be better off just letting people know that you're freaks from the jump. And there's no rules.
Well, I mean, come to our show, you'll figure that out real fast.
And all of that's on the first record too, so it wasn't news. But it was partially that, and partially like we were starting to get on the jump of like smaller releases more frequently, because it had taken us so long to get to the second record.
Of course,
we were trying to think like, how can we stopgap better? Because, 3 years in, whenever it was that we started, we're sick of the first record. We've been playing some of these songs for years at this point. Of
course, yeah. I relate. I get that.
And it's like, okay, maybe we just do small chunks. There's not that big beast of, like, record hovering over you and all the costs and all the work and all the whatever.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, the idea of the album doesn't really matter in the same way that I think it used to, especially in, like, the streaming era and how much time people even have to commit to something.
Right.
Like, my favorite band puts out a new record, and I'm like, this is a fucking chore. I don't have an hour. Are you fucking serious?
Right.
Yeah.
Let alone you fucking ding-dongs. How am I going to find an hour? You have to see you guys play, But that's just like, it's a lot of pressure. So sometimes it is easier to just be like, well, here's a song or two. Check it out on your way to Giant Eagle, please.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's like I started out the new year with a New Year's resolution. I'm like, I don't think I listened to enough music for how much music's out there. I'm like, I could probably like give myself an album a day.
For sure.
And well, here we are into March, and I think I'm like 30 albums in, because I tried the album a day, and I was like, even though it's only an hour out of your life, and you think that you could just like fit this in there. I mean, to really sit down and listen to it,
to like actively listen to something.
Yeah, after you've done everything during your day or all the things going on in life, and you actually physically like sit down and listen to it, not just background noise. It's like, I was like, I don't think an album a day is really feasible. Like,
and you do find a lot. I mean, like we're guilty of listening to like really long-winded music. The proggy stuff,
yeah, we love the proggy
sludgy stuff, whatever.
Fucking
it all
dorks.
just runs long.
Fucking dorks.
But when you
That's what
start,
I'm saying.
hey,
As I'm over here listening to like the Used.
we mellowed it down big time coming into this band. The band that me and Fem were in before this band together was like most people didn't get it unless you're a musician. And whenever we started this thing, I looked at him. I'm like, look, I want to have all the proggy things and I want to do the cool stuff, but like we really need to walk the fence and like give like the normal people, because like fans are going to buy our stuff. Like other musicians aren't going to buy our stuff. Like we don't have money to buy people's stuff, so they're not going to buy our stuff. So we have to like appease somehow to like a broader audience. So
yeah, I mean, there's a conversation to be had where it's like, of course, as an artiste, you want to be like, I'm doing this for myself. I'm not doing this for anybody else. Fuck them. But also, like, why bother learning this shit and dragging your gear halfway across the fucking state to play music that nobody's going to give a shit about?
Yeah, nobody cares. So you need nobody gets it. It's so far out of...
Like,
there's got to be that happy middle ground.
Exactly. It's about finding the balance.
So on this record, and I remember, it was like the biggest fight we had on this record.
Oh, yeah. Let's get juicy.
It's not even all that exciting because we had all of our big fights on the first record.
Oh, yeah. The first record was a nightmare.
We hated each other the entire time.
Oh, my God.
Like you said earlier about learning how to communicate with each other.
That was the first record. Talk to each other.
Those two.
After we released the album, I didn't talk to him for like 3 months.
No.
Every time we'd get together as a group, I'd get a phone call from one of them. You want to know what this motherfucker?
Fen played middleman between me.
We got into this record. I'm like, the first person who calls me dies. And we've gotten minimal. Actually, it's been pretty nice this time around.
No.
Everybody's been cool.
That first album, we had our big blowout.
It was bad.
And Fen finally got to the point where, he just looked at Darren and he looked at me and goes, look, if you two, you got to talk to each other. If you got to go outside out in the backyard at practice and like throw hands or something but like yins need to like figure this out on your own.
Avoid the jaw, avoid the fingers. That's all we need. Fuck off.
Yep. Which that plan got nixed very quick because we're like, it's cold outside. Let's just stay inside and get along.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see all the gray everywhere, but we're a little old for that shit.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But on this record, we have one song that just demanded the like big anthemic look at me making radio rocks chorus.
Great. Love that.
It is a thing he really does not like.
Okay.
No.
So we wound up,
and it's a thing I really like.
Okay, great. Great.
So we got one.
Okay.
They did get one.
Yeah.
I did write one.
And it's funny because it's not even the song that fits that description is not even the song that argument started with.
Nah.
No, I think the song that started that we scrapped.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we did.
Because there's, if my memory is right, I think there's 4 songs that were on the original record plan that got scrapped and we put new stuff in.
Yeah.
And I think they all did that big chorus thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think on this record we have 2. I think there's 2.
Yeah. It is, yeah, I'm totally against it. Like, I'm not big into like Linkin Park or anything like that, or like them bands. Like a lot of them bands, it just seems like they all sound the same and they're doing the same thing. And I don't want to tread down that water. I want to be unique and do what I do. But then I sat back and I thought about it. I'm like, we all come from like different like musical background and stuff, and we're all into different things.
Yeah,
and it's not fair to me to be like, I'm not going to do that because it's not my thing. Like,
especially
Aaron
when he will pick up the hardest guitar riff and go, I think we should do that 2 more times. Fuck you. I can't play that
guilty
once.
Of that. I am. So it became like, I'm like, okay, I can do this and make it like fun for me too.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's got to be a way to like give it that big, sound, that big clean chorusy sound, and still like I can be happy about it.
And I
it
think
was just finding that middle
one of the
ground.
big selling points that I noticed with you on that, because we had a couple songs on the first album that had like those catchy choruses and
had spaces for it.
Yeah. And when you play those songs, you put the album out, people listen to it, the regulars come to the show. When you see people singing your song back to you,
of course, yeah,
like that makes a difference. And like, even though he was like, I don't like that catchy, big melodic chorus thing, I think like, the first couple times you had somebody like singing a song back to you, it was like, oh, that's why they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a little more, there was less butting heads on that front with this album. There still was a lot of it, but it was less on this album than the first one.
Oh, 100%.
Of just like, where I like came in, I was like, hey, I put together this song. I have this spot for like a big, open, clean chorus. And Brian just kind of goes, okay. Where like the first album, it was like, here's a spot for a big, clean chorus. And he goes, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm like,
It was that bad. I'd be like, I'm not doing that. And then some of them I'd like scream over them, or I'd do death metal growls over them, which turned out like really cool. But they're like, that's not at all.
That's not what we wanted.
What we wanted. And I'm like, well, that's okay. That's what I'm doing.
My biggest one
cool,
that I think of on the first record, there's a song called Lunar, and there's a part where it just goes into like the open power chord kind of moment for that, and there's no vocal because he did look at that, go, that's that part.
There was.
I'm guilty.
Also, Your Love. When we wrote that, I was like, I put it together. I'm like, verse, chorus, bridge, guitar solo, chorus. And when we started playing it, he went, verse? I was like, yeah. He was like, instrumental. I'm not singing anything over that. And, we compromised there, and I got a verse out of him, and now it's one of our biggest songs.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one song that, we do get a lot of people singing back to us. But yeah, there was a lot of that on the first one and some of that on this one.
Like I said, it's the biggest fight we had on this record, and it really wasn't all that dramatic. I think it was like, hey, I think that I don't really like that. We'll try it. And then it worked, so it stuck. But the way we did it on the record, I don't know, there's probably 6 or 7 vocal layers all stacked up on top of each other.
Yeah, I think I did like 5 or 6 of them just myself.
Yeah. I put a screaming
Different
layer
stuff.
under it, and I'm sitting there going, I don't know. It's a big singy chorus, and my screams are coming through. I don't know. It works.
Yeah.
It sounds huge.
Yeah. The whole album is, it's the biggest thing we've done, sound-wise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited to get it out to people. I think a lot of people are really, there's something for everybody. Like we said, we have like the darker, deathy stuff, some brighter stuff at the beginning. Like and we get mixed reviews at shows. Like we'll play some songs and we're like, that song is our favorite song. And it's like the biggest, catchiest chorus, like the simplest song, instrumentally that we have. And then we have a few people that are like, that one's our favorite. And it's just the darkest, heaviest, meanest fucking thing we got.
Yeah. Well, the music is a conversation between the performer and the listener.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody likes to have different types of conversations. Sometimes people don't understand the sonic language of a 9.5 minute progressive song.
Right.
Some people understand, the simpler thing.
Yeah.
But you're providing this buffet, if you will, where everybody can bring a plate to the stage and get something that they'll enjoy.
Right.
Yeah, it's a live music potluck.
You know what? That should go on our website.
I'll change the bio right now.
I always say, let's just throw it all in a blender and then let's mix it up and let's see what comes out.
It's kind of what happens, yeah.
Let's just throw it all in the blender.
And that was kind of the mindset I had booking the album release show too. Because we have 4 bands playing they're all some of the heaviest hitters in like the local metal scene. But they're so sonically different.
Sure.
From each other. Like, I think the most similar is like us and Grey Walker with some of the songs we have. Other songs, not even close. But like, you have Reign of Z that has that like just the side of like an industrial new metal sound.
Mm-hmm.
And then Guides that's like, if you made Finch heavier.
Sure.
Like, so it's you even with the show, there's a little bit for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So we designed the album that way. I don't know if it was intentionally designed that way or not, but it was kind of the goal.
It's kind of just what we do at this point.
Yeah, it's how it comes because, he's got a real knack for hook.
Yeah.
And
Captain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'll make anything fast and aggressive and dark. So when, like, the two of us will primarily work on the demos. So, it'll be this deathcore inspired nonsense for 4 minutes. And then suddenly it'll be Death Cab for Cutie. And those are how the songs work. And then we smooth it out so it makes sense, but that's how they go.
Yeah, there's a few songs on there where like he comes in with like this fast technical piece, and I'm just like, you're gonna have to slow that the fuck down.
And we do.
What does Austin call you? Crack hands?
Crack hands.
Because like there's stuff he plays where he's just at practice, he'll just be like noodling around, and we're like, that was really cool. If you slowed that down by about 25%.
Yeah.
And then I'll come in with stuff and we're like, we're a metal band, not good Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I got it.
So you meet in the middle.
Yeah. And I like all kinds of stuff. I like singing along with, doing all the death metal stuff. Like, so.
And
it's
there's
nice
a
to
lot
have-
more clean vocals on
There
this
is a lot
album
more clean vocals on this
than I
album.
expected there to be when we were writing everything.
Yeah.
There's pretty early in the process that him and I had a conversation about really stepping up on melody.
Yeah.
And I mean, all the aggression is still there, all the screaming vocal, all that is still there, but we really did, if there's a part that is a screaming vocal, it's, this metal part or whatever. Maybe we could put something under it, or maybe we could put something on top of it, or maybe you interchange and move, or like he'll sing, I'm screaming, he'll sing, whatever it is.
I think that there's like I can easily understand why this misconception exists, where it's like, just because something is screaming or something is singing doesn't mean that like, oh, the singing is nice. Like I've heard very emotionally like destructive vocals that are clean vocals.
Yeah.
And I've also heard screaming. It just sounds like, bro, you sound like a bitch. Like
Right.
straight up. Like it's just like, stop.
Right.
You're trying way too fucking
You're
hard.
crying.
Yeah, it's
you're,
just so
you're being a crybaby.
it's all about, I think, intention. Like, what is the intention of that part? You know, like
Right.
you're fucking
think-
sitting over there in the Opeth shirt. What better example?
That's, yeah.
Exactly.
There's a lot of that.
And a lot of my stuff goes off of they write it and then I see where it takes me, like how it makes me feel. And that's pretty much where I run with my vocals is if it makes me feel a certain type of way, I don't care that it should have this kind of vocal on it. Theoretically, it makes me feel this way emotionally. So I'm going to throw this on it and figure out a way to do that. So you feel what the music's trying to make you feel.
Of course.
Like I want,
And you and I
music
have
is an emotional journey.
Yeah.
And I think that listening to an album or listening to us play, like you should have some kind of connection. If you connect with the lyrics or not, you should be able to connect with the feeling behind it.
And you and I had a lot of conversations in this process too, where like we would get the mixes back from our last studio session and he would be like, I don't know, like it just feels kind of dead in this part. Like the intro track on the album
Yeah.
with Annie singing on it. He was like, I don't know, it's just I don't really feel the emotion. And I'm like, dude, I almost cried listening to that. What are you talking about? Like the emotion was there. And he was like, okay, that works.
And that was a big step. They didn't see that one coming. That was thrown at them sideways. They wrote these couple pieces, how they said we have these little like,
interludes,
interlude
whatever
pieces. And listening to a couple of them whenever I was writing in my head, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to get a female vocalist on this with me. And they were like, you're going to what? And I'm like, I think it calls for it. I really think these songs call for that.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's going to make them feel the way that they should.
Sure.
With a female vocalist with me. So that's like a whole new journey for us too. That was a new.
Yeah, and
new
the
thing
end
for us
product,
to-
like there was a lot of it where I'm just like the intro track for the album, like I could kind of hear what he was going for when he described it. I'm like, I'll have to see at the end. But then she's on it again on the last track on the album that I had no idea she was going to be on until I got that mix back. And I went, oh, that's what you were talking about. Okay, that makes sense.
Do on every album. I always do a surprise song. it's one that I go in and I do by myself, or they're not there and they're not real sure.
Because
what
usually
I'm gonna
by the
do
end
with
of the
it.
record process, we're sick of being musicians.
Yeah.
So he's still got to finish, and we're like, "Fuck you!"
Well, the first
So he goes
album,
in
you
by
kind
himself.
of had to get me in on it because you're like, this is what I want to do, and I need somebody that can play piano.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we're doing this now, and it worked out because it was a perfect transition.
But
from,
he had not heard the vocals that I was going to put on it
I had no
prior to
idea
going
what he
in.
was
He
doing.
had no idea what I was going to do or what the lyrics were or anything, and he went in to play this piano piece because I'm like, it needs to be in there.
Yeah.
And
It
I
was
started
like
singing
take
it
the
in the
chorus
booth.
of the last song of the album and make that piano. And I went, okay, I'll figure. And the last song on our first album is more or less a power ballad. So I'm like, that's easy to translate into that. And I did it. I put an acoustic guitar over it. And then he goes into the vocal booth and I'm like, what are you going to do? And then like, after he sang it and then we, did a little bit of mixing in the studio, I was like, oh, that works, especially with like the vibe of the album, like coming out of one of our heavier songs on that album to just like piano, guitar. Like it was almost like when you listen to it, it's like a guy sitting on stage at like a dive bar, like Poetry Lounge at 1:30 in the morning, where you have like 4 people at the bar, toys back there, cleaning glasses or whatever. And then there's just this guy on the stage just with a guitar singing this real sad song to himself.
Yeah.
And then it transitioned right into the last song. So like that was cool to see. So with this album, he was like, I'm just going to do something. We're like, all right, yeah, do your thing. Like we did the track for it, put it on there. And, we had some notes about like some of the melody with it after we got it back. And we're like, okay, we see what you're going for. What if we like tweaked just like this one syllable here and like kind of make it flow? And yeah, it came out sounding a lot better than what I expected when he gave me the idea of what he wanted to do. And I'm like, I'm going to let you run with it because you did it last time. So I have no idea what this is going to sound like. I don't know if I agree with it yet, but do your thing.
Right.
And it's awesome.
Yeah, and you guys did
probably the last song on the album is probably one of my favorite songs, and it's probably like.
But don't throw your shoulder out of
the
socket, patting yourself on the back. Damn.
No, because I mean, you guys have the lead guitars.
It is really cool,
Yins have the lead guitars in there and stuff too, so it's real epic. But like the vocal end of it is very simple. It's not.
Yeah,
like,
it's just 3 lines.
It's not big-winded. It's just 3 lines in 3 different places, and with the male and female vocal on it, it just. It adds to like this epic like ending that they had written with these guitar solos and stuff, and it just sort of just lays in there real nice.
Initially, the last track on the album where he has Annie singing on it, I think the initial like track listing that we had when we were writing everything was going to be right in the middle. Because like the intro is just kind of like a clean guitar, some synth stuff, and then we had one other one that was still kind of clean and then gets really heavy at the end. But this one is just like kind of straightforward. Just like both of us have 2 like 1.5-minute long guitar solos on it separately.
16 bar, whatever that comes out to.
Yeah. And it was going to be like right in the middle. He was like, I think I want it at the end and I'm going to do something vocally with it. And initially it didn't fit at the end of the album. Like I didn't think it flowed there. And I kind of just let them run with it. I was like, that's what you wanted. I'm outvoted, whatever. I just want the album out at this point. And then I heard it and it's simple. Just him and her singing in unison, just 3 lines and then guitar solo, sing the same 3 lines again, another guitar solo, the same 3 lines again, the song ends. But just that simple 3-line vocal part made that fit where it needs to be on the album.
It feels like a proper ending.
Yeah.
And I mean, this record thematically it's dark, it's gut-wrenching. It's like, it's an unhappy record, even when the music is very bright and poppy.
And it's loosely a concept album as well.
Yeah.
So like having it like with the lyrics of the rest of the album and like just those simple lyrics at the end, it ties in everything that happened on the album, but it also kind of brings it full circle.
Sure.
So it's very much an album that you can loop and there will be like, if it's just listening to it over and over again, you'd get to a point where you don't know where the album starts and where it ends.
It's an hour long, so nobody's going to do that. But
right, exactly. Like I have the added advantage of like, I have about a 30 to 40 minute drive to work at Smalls every day. And I do a lot of Lyft and Uber driving. So I just put on like full discographies and just let them play through.
Yeah.
So like, but not everybody's going to be like, I'm going to sit down and put the earbuds in and just sit there and listen to it. But, if you're doing something where you have it playing, in the background, it can loop and it'll loop seamlessly.
Yeah. I don't even think you really noticed that it started over till you're into it. Then you'd be like, hey, I'm back at the beginning. It's a fun journey, and it's definitely dark. Lyrically, it's dark, and it's a dark, not happy album.
Yeah.
That I think just needed to come out.
What
right
local
now.
musicians are happy though?
Really? Let's remind everybody again about when the new album is coming out, when people can hear it, when people can dig into all of the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears that went into this, as well as reminding people about the album release show.
Yeah, so we are dropping the album on April 18th. So it'll drop at midnight that Friday night / Saturday morning. It'll be available everywhere: Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, YouTube. We might, depending on how quickly I can get the things together, we might drop a single early. So we'll see about that. It would probably be about the same time the podcast is coming out if I can make that happen. And then the album release show is the night of April 18th at the Funhouse at Mr. Small's. The doors open at 6. Music starts at 7. We got Guides, Grey Walker, Reign of Z, and then Desolence at the end of the night.
Boo.
Yep, exactly. So,
Yes.
come early, leave early.
Yep.
And then, we'll have physical CDs in hand at the show for anybody that wants them.
Well, they'll be on table.
They'll be on the table. So, if anybody wants to give us some money, we'd appreciate it. We going to have new merch?
Maybe.
We might have some new merch, some new T-shirts, at least new T-shirts, maybe not enough to go around for everybody, but we might have one or two.
Awesome.
We'll see. We're broke.
We got Sharpies and white T-shirts. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
April 18th is the day it all happens.
Awesome. Great. Well, I want to thank you guys one more time for being here. Desolence, make some fucking noise. I'll be back again next week with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Brian Sykes Howe. Start the Beat is the podcast. 2026 is the year. And until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of the people around you. Peace out. We did it.
Later.
That was a podcast.
That was a podcast.
All right.
We did it.
Thanks for sticking around for the end.